bradleyaidanjohnson here with an email reply, and a comment was posted on my, I just got a subscriber as I think, so yeah man, whatever number that is. And the question is on my training log, how come you only do one set of deadlifts? And the clue's kind of in the title. The deadlift is not called the deadlift because it has something to do with danger or death or some nefariousness. Actually, before that, here's my training log if you want to look at that. Woo, training log. Anyway, it's called the deadlift because you have to lift the weight up from a dead stop. It's completely rested dead on the floor and you lift it up. Now, if you compare that to something else, like anything else practically that you lift, which would be a bench press or a squat, squat's obviously the closest one to raise, so we'll do it from the squat. If you compare it to say a squat or a bench press, you have a weight, you take it off a rack, immediately your muscles must be held isometrically. They've got to hold it up, yeah? This will start turning on motor units, which are the things that make your muscles twitch, right? So your central nervous system sends signals and says, muscles, there's something to do here, we've got to hold these. So they start turning on. As you start dropping it, you've got to change the way that their tonality, the muscle's tonality, which makes them contract slash lengthen. So you do this and you bring it down, you're storing energy. As you're going down, your chest is activating, everything's getting turned on, right? All these little lights, imagine like a Christmas tree, all these lights are coming on in these muscles, so that when you finally go and you push it out, you they were already on, they were already ready, they already knew what was going to happen. For instance, then take it to a squat, you put your hand, back it up, you stand up, massive weight is being driven through all these muscle groups. They know that you're holding something heavy. They know you don't usually weigh 300 kilos. They're aware of this. So you walk back and you're like, okay, and you go lower, you bounce down into the eccentric. That requires all these muscles to turn on because you're not going to free fall downwards. You have to hold it and control it downwards. All these muscles are getting turned on. And when you get to the bottom and you finally push back up, they already knew they would probably have to do that. They were already being used. A deadlift, you set up, no matter how tight and how good your setup is, your legs are doing nothing. They just are there. Your arms, well, if you're pulling the slack out of the bar, which you should be when you're deadlifting, as in you get tight and then you just yank up a little bit so that everything is tight and your lower back is held. I don't know why I stood up there, I didn't know anything. You get tight and you're primed, but no real workload is being pushed through. You're not actually holding anything, you're not doing anything, you're just in a tighter position. And then you have to lift a massive weight off of the ground, and that's what the deadlift is, a lift from a dead stop. That requires all of your muscles, and not to mention a deadlift requires more muscles than a squat would, because it requires your upper body, your lats are massively involved, your traps are massively involved, biceps are involved, triceps are involved, forearms get involved, obviously your quads, hamstring, glutes, calves to some extent. And all the muscle around the hip flexors and all your, of course, your core and the massive load for your posterior chain. Bang, you stand up. And they all got to turn on like that. They've all got to come on like that. That requires a massive amount of energy and it is incredibly difficult to recover from. If you keep doing that for over a course of weeks, your central nervous system will what we call burnout, and that is what we call overtraining. You'll start to get very weak. Not to mention the energy it puts through your posterior chain, which is, when we talk about posterior chain is all muscles down the back. So starting about here, your thoracic, down to your lumbar spine, glutes, hip flexors aren't really the posterior chain, hams, all the way down to the connection at the lower leg. All that there is your posterior chain, and more specifically these weak muscles here that in your lower back, your lumbar spine, the erector spinae, that have to hold your pelvis and hold your body isometrically. A massive load is being put through them that will also be needed taxed in other workouts, etc. And you keep putting all that volume through them, not to mention the central nervous system fatigue that you'll get from lifting over and over again and from a dead stop. You can't do many deadlifts and not pay the piper on them. Whereas other exercises that have a concentric eccentric relationship, whereas you go, which is in a squat you bounce down and come up, bench press you drop down, you come up, bicep curl you lower it, you come up. All these things require the muscles to be activated before they do their main concentric lift. When you have a bicep curl, you drop it down and you pull it back up. You never go up to a dumbbell on the floor, grab the dumbbell, get your body in the right place and just lift it up and then drop it down to the floor, and then let go, and then grab it again, and just lift it up. No one does bicep curls like that. Maybe they should. It'd be a totally different way of bicep curl. I might look into that. But generally, every lift that you do will have an eccentric before the concentric, a lengthening of the muscles before the contraction that lifts the weight, and that has a much different relationship with the central nervous system than just lifting from a dead stop. In the same way as you get in a car, it hasn't been warmed up or anything, the oil's not warm, and the first thing you do is you turn it on and immediately put it into gear and drive as fast as you can and try and get the max out of the car as possible, and you do that every morning. Your car will quickly develop problems in its engine because everything had to be turned on so quickly, compared to someone else who starts up their car, warms their car up, drives it around slowly, goes back and forth, nice 20 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour slowly, and then towards the end of the day, then goes for a max speed. Their car will be looked after a lot better than your car that was moving, grinding metal against metal before the oil really had a chance to warm up and be able to create sufficient lubrication. It's the best analogy I can think of, kind of like working out without warming up kind of thing, is the comparison of the deadlift on the central effects on the central nervous system compared to another movement. That is why there's only one set of deadlifts, one maximum effort set of deadlifts. Hopefully there's been some help. bradleyaidanjohnson@gmail.com. If you have any queries or theories or suggestions or anything, let me know. Other than that, like the video, like my Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, of course, subscribe. Peace.